Welcome back to the channel. We are here March 30th. It's going to be the breakdown for tomorrow's Wednesday slate we got going on for Draftkings. 10 game slate that we got going on. Nice games on the docket. Actually, I lied. There is no nice games. There's literally, oh my God, the most competitive game might be Chicago Phoenix. Maybe Sacramento, San Antonio, but they just face each other. So I don't know. That could be flip flop. But this it's kind of ugly. Dallas, Boston is okay. Utah, Memphis is okay. All right, so we can find some gems here. We can find some gems here. Starting with the point guard position, 7K and below. You know the rules. I'm trying to find you value so you can pay up on a 10-game slate. Get you a stud. Okay, lock you in a couple studs. Have that value come through with the 8x, 9x performance, and then you'll be at the top of your tournaments or your double ups, your 50-50s, whatever you play. Okay. Start off with Tyrese Halliburton, the rookie. Keep riding this wave. He is in the starting position now on the Sacramento Kings. He's starting right next to De'Aaron Fox. They're not missing a beat. And actually, they've been on a little bit of a winning streak. It's been a very consistent team since they made that switch. And Halliburton, come back from injury, is putting up some numbers. 15 and 10 assists, 4 rebounds, 2 steals. You saw against San Antonio. Now he's going up against the same exact team, just a different day. And I think he can put up that similar performance, maybe even better, because that's the type of explosive point guard / shooting guard he is. I like him at 6,100. Next, we are moving on to Kevin Porter Jr. Obviously, going up against the Brooklyn Nets, who's going to be a high up-tempo team. Kevin Porter Jr., second-year player, has embraced his role with Houston. I like a lot of guys on Houston for this slate. And this is just one of them. That's 6K. That's too cheap for a team that's going to be putting up 120, 130 points. Houston's going to have to keep pace. Obviously, they're not going to win the game, but they're going to be at least try to be competitive. And I like Kevin Porter Jr. He can definitely bring you some upside at that price. Next, we're going to Jason Tate. I told you that I liked a lot of Houston players. There's another one a little bit later. Jason Tate is coming in at a very nice price, 5,900, below 6K. Consistency is there. 39 minutes against Minnesota, 33 in that second leg of the back-to-back. And then against Memphis, another 33 minutes, 24.7 rebounds. He's really focusing on that points and rebound situation right there. Maybe he can get a double-double. He can definitely knock down threes. 3 and 9 against Memphis. The opportunities will be there against Brooklyn Nets. They are not shy with running up and down the floor. Jason Tate can definitely knock down some threes. Very young player, but very high in potential. I like Jason Tate at 5,900. Next, we're going to move over to another point guard, Mike Conley. I think he's a little bit too cheap going up against his old former team in the Memphis Grizzlies. Going to be at that grindhouse. They're going to be on the road in a more competitive environment. Memphis usually plays Utah tough. Utah won that last game a couple days ago, 117-114, just to see, just a little idea of those games, how close they are. The reason why I only had 24 DK and at a higher salary is because he was 2 of 13 with his jumper. So if he's knocking down, half of those shots, he's going to get you well over 30 DK. And at 5,800, he does not deserve to be here. He is a 6K guard and above. You see that type of salary all throughout his last 10 games. So you want to take full advantage when he gets below this price. I like him at 5,800. Next is Tyler Hero, guard for the Miami Heat, going up against the Indiana Pacers at 5,400. Very nice price. He's been very consistent. Now, you want to take advantage of him before Oladipo gets in that lineup and take some usage from Tyler Hero. Even though he's going to be coming off the bench, he still has to be accounted for. Oladipo jumping in that lineup, and the new acquisitions on Miami Heat haven't fully got there yet, or haven't fully got acclimated. But Miami's in a must-win mode, and since Oladipo is not going to be on a road trip, these guys like Tyler Hero, Duncan Robinson, Bam Adebayo, Jimmy Butler are going to have to step up and push this team towards the playoff, okay? And at 5,400, that is way too cheap. They dropped him after having a nice performance against the Knicks. Take full advantage of Tyler Hero at 5,400. Next, we're going to go with the rookie, Saddiq Bey, on the Detroit Pistons, if it ever freaking loads. 5,500 for Saddiq Bey. And going up against Portland, who doesn't play much defense. They obviously upgraded on the offensive front with Norman Powell. He's a little more athletic forward. He does a little bit better on the defensive side, but he's not, a top tier guy. And Saddiq Bey can definitely take advantage of it. The minutes are there. The question is he going to knock down his shots? So he's going to get you 30 plus minutes. If he's knocking down his threes, he is definitely worth it. As you can see against Toronto, 5 of 7, 71% 3-point percentage. That was absolutely outstanding. They dropped his price all the way to 5,500. I like it when he's in that 5K range because that's where he's too cheap. He kind of belongs in that 6K range just because the minutes and the upside is the consistency. That is the question. So it is a risky play, but in that in-game environment, you can see a positive game script going towards his way. Next, on Oklahoma City, we're going to go with Pokey. I don't even know his first name, but we're just going to stick with Pokey. This power forward, small forward, is going to be a focal point for the OKC Thunder with SGA out, with Al Horford out for the rest of the season as well. He has stepped up into a position, the rookie, that's going to be getting a lot of minutes, a lot of shots, and he just needs to perform. He's been used well in the offense with assist type games against Boston. He had 5. Memphis, another 5 assists in that game. The rebounds, you like to see, upwards of 6 to 7 rebounds since he is a big man. But he is also a 3-point shooter, kind of the Lauri Markkanen type of mold, very tall and skinny, but not at the level Markkanen is. But Pokey at 5,100, they dropped his price yet again. And when he's this cheap, he tends to go off. He was 4.9 and got you 33 DK. He was 4.8, got you 27 against Houston. Now going up against Toronto, who's been struggling mightily. Pokey is in a very, very good spot. Next is going to be Hamidou Diallo. He has been traded to the Detroit Pistons, and since he's been acclimated over there, he's stepped up and taken a lot of shots and has been a nice, number 2 go-to guy opposite of Jeremy Grant. Hamidou Diallo is a, score first mentality. He had 19 and 10, nice double-double, 2 blocks, 3 assists, 1 steal. Very, very active for the Detroit Pistons. Now going up against the Portland Trail Blazers, like I said, a very good matchup. Toronto, a very good matchup. Toronto doesn't play any defense. Portland doesn't play any defense. Diallo, 4.6, and you're getting a starter who's going to get 25 plus minutes. Yes, by all means, let me get some of him. Next is going to be Jakob Pertl in a back-to-back situation for the San Antonio Spurs at the center position. Going up against the Sacramento Kings, he smashed the other day with 31 minutes, 8 of 11 shooting, a nice double-double with 17 points, 11 rebounds, 2 assists, and 3 blocks. Really filled the stat sheet right there. Consistency against Chicago. They're going to need him if San Antonio is going to try to squeak into the playoffs or even just stay consistent. They have the opportunity to do so. Jakob Pertl is going to have to be that anchor at the center position, 5,800. He belongs in the 6K range. I like him there. And then last but not least, Kelly Olynyk is now a starter. So whenever he was starting for the Heat, we were all over him. And now he's starting for the Houston Rockets. You have to play this guy. A stretch big, knock down the 3. He didn't hit none of the 3s against Memphis. He was over 5. But 10 to 17 shooting, got you 25 points, 9 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 blocks, and 1 steal. 44 DK at 4,400. That's 11x plus. Outstanding performance. They bumped him up only $800 to 52. This is a lock for tomorrow, especially going up against the Brooklyn Nets, who are going to be starting DeAndre Jordan he can definitely stretch him out all the way to that 3-point line and really cause some havoc for the Nets. Maybe that can be a focal point for them on offense, exploit our defense. But he is just way too cheap. He's going to be that 6K range if he continues to start for the Houston Rockets. Maybe he muster up some wins because they have a nice punch with Olynyk, John Wall, Christian Wood, those type of guys. They actually have a chance to be competitive. Let's check over with FanDuel, just compare some of these prices that we're going to see. Kelly Olynyk was the first guy I spoke about. He's going to be $300 more on FanDuel. I like him on both sites, either or. Jakob Pertl is going to be, he's going to be $300 more at $6,100. I like him on either side just because of the matchup. Sacramento Kings give up a ton of points and rebounds to the center position. Hamidou Diallo for Detroit is $5,800. He is still at the price that what he was for the OKC Thunder. I'm not going to shy away from that price because the opportunity is there in Detroit. He's going to get a ton of minutes and a ton of shots. I like him. And it's crazy that he's at the point guard position. So I got a ton of point guard plays for you. You're going to really have to, decipher who's going to be your number one guy. Pokey is at $5,300. Only $200 more for FanDuel, so that's a fair price on both sites. Sadiq Bey is way cheaper on FanDuel. He's a risky lock, but no, he's not a lock. He's just risky. But you can play him on FanDuel at that cheaper price. Tyler Hero is a little more expensive on FanDuel at $5,700. I like him. They're going to need him and his scoring, a little bit of, young leadership that he can provide and boost off the bench. Mike Conley, $6K, $200 more on FanDuel. That's an okay price. Tate is a little bit more, $100 more, but I like him and his upside going up against the Brooklyn Nets. As long as they try to keep this game close, maybe in that 15-point range, then that's a little bit, respectable enough for him. And then Kevin Porter Jr., they dropped his price. I like him more on FanDuel at $5,500 compared to DraftKings at $6K. And then last but not least is going to be Tyrese Halliburton, one of my favorite point guards, especially with Melo Ball out. At $5,600, you're saving $500 on him. He's almost a lock there, especially in the starting position that he is now has acquired. Let me know if you like the core, if you have any other suggestions for tomorrow's slate. Watch the news for tomorrow. There's going to be a lot of ins and outs because you got 10 games slate, so you don't know what's going to happen. Stay vigilant. Go to rotoworld.com/NBA and get tuned in over there. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at MessageSD, and I'll be back tomorrow with another video. Peace out.